At their very core, futuristic racing games should have visual flair, and there was already an early history of this subgenre before F-Zero released, including Nintendo's Mach Rider on NES in 1985, Powerdrome on 16-bit computers, and Atari's arcade STUN Runner in 1989. Following these games, late 1990 became an exciting time for futuristic racers, partly as Sega's AB Cop Coin-Op released a month after the launch of F-Zero on the shiny new Super Famicom, but predominantly because Nintendo's console game was striking as it sped around in style. As one of the earliest Super Famicom launch titles, released in Japan on November 21, 1990 alongside the less graphically flamboyant, but equally beloved, Super Mario World, it's fundamental in analyzing the first F-Zero to highlight the impact of Mode 7. To illustrate this point, during an interview on Nintendo.com commemorating the release of F-Zero as part of the SNES Classic Edition, F-Zero's game director Kazunobu Shimizu explained in regards to Mode 7 that, "I thought if we used that to make a racing game, it would shock everyone." It turned out that Shimizu-san's thinking was entirely accurate. Early in the SNES's lifespan in June 1991, Rich Ledbetter reviewed F-Zero in issue 9 of the UK magazine Mean Machines, and predicted in a 90% scoring review that there'll never, ever be anything to touch this graphically on the Amiga or Mega Drive. Even amongst the 20 SNES titles initially available to Nintendo Switch Online members in September 2019, the smoothness of F-Zero's Mode 7 still stands out. It's a party trick that will have sold many people on the console, and it still has an impact even after all this time. Although 16-bit consoles adopted the sprite scaling effect for roads similar to Sega's arcade superscalar graphics, F-Zero's swooping camera after winning a Grand Prix was only possible due to Mode 7's rotation ability. Mode 7 was simply a jaw-dropping pseudo-3D marvel to experience in 1990, in the context of console capabilities at that time. The game is eye-blisteringly bright, as if Nintendo intended to showcase the SNES's color palette superiority over the Mega Drive through bold coloring from the outset. The longevity of F-Zero's visual design is prevalent in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate stages, including Big Blue and Port Town, while the sights and sounds of the iconic Mute City stage are directly based on the SNES game's graphics, and all three originated in the SNES original. Choosing from 4 futuristic racing hovercar vehicles, Blue Falcon, Golden Fox, Wild Goose and Fire Stingray, differentiated by max power, max speed and weight, as well as a curve graph that displays acceleration ratings, you take part in a Grand Prix, or learn track layouts in practice mode. The tension builds as you must achieve a set rank within each lap. F-Zero's game director Kazunobu Shimizu stated that he thought the Mode 7 effects in a racing game would shock everyone, and he was correct, because during the November 1990 launch of the Super Famicom game, his jaws dropped at the colorful visuals, track rotation, and impressive scaling effects. Combined with a fantastic Yumiko Kanki and Naoto Ishida soundtrack that grooved along with bass-heavy rhythms and melodic futuristic bleeps, F-Zero's presentation was cutting-edge in the early 16-bit era. With smooth handling, tight track design for 15 circuits, and accessibly addictive Grand Prix gameplay, F-Zero is a game to repeatedly revisit, no matter which format you choose to play it on, even if it is only a single-player title. Despite the infuriatingly confrontational opponents on harder difficulties, it's predominantly retro fun whooshing through tracks in this futuristic racer.